Let's bring forth Baphomet in a sea of blood. Come on.
Hell Motel Episode 4 Recap. In Episode 4 of Hell Motel, paranoia runs wild as the group reels from Crow's death. Accusations fly, alliances shift, and a failed escape attempt leads to a brutal ambush by the masked killer. While Floyd and Shirley quietly move forward with their twisted ritual, another guest meets a gruesome end. Secrets from the past emerge, and the line between the living and the demonic begins to blur. Let's break it all down. Crow is dead. Or is he? Episode 4 begins with the group reeling from the sudden death of Crow. The mood is frantic. Paige, Andy, Blake, Adriana, Kawayan, Floyd, and Shirley are arguing about what happened, who might have done it, and what they should do with his body. Kawayan steps in to check Crow's pulse, and he declares him dead. But this is Kawayan we're talking about. He's an artist, not a doctor, and it turns out his method of pulse checking is less than reliable. So Floyd takes matters into his own hands literally. While no one's watching, he finishes the job, making sure Crow is actually dead. That means Crow might have been alive, however briefly, when everyone thought he was gone. It's dark, it's disturbing, and it says a lot about Floyd's true nature. Meanwhile, Andy tries to console Paige, who's understandably shaken. She shifts between being horrified and turned on by the violence, which is confusing. Floyd goes off to monologue alone in his room about the third killer. It's a redundant speech that offers nothing new. But Shirley? She's on a mission. She believes Kawayan is their guy, the one behind Hemingway, Portia, and now Crow. And her solution isn't to tell the group or confront him with facts. Instead, she decides to seduce a confession out of him.
Actual blood? Yeah.
Shirley gives blood for art. Shirley pays Kawayan a visit and tries to coax him into confessing that he's the killer. But instead of denying it or confirming it, Kawayan starts talking about his art. According to him, he creates pieces to honor the dead and sometimes uses his own blood as a medium. That's right, this guy is painting with his own fluids, and Shirley? She's impressed. So much so, she actually volunteers her own blood for his next piece.
Why?
Because she wants to be a part of something bigger, or maybe she just finds Kawayan's macabre aesthetic sexy. Either way, it's wild. Remember, she thinks Kawayan is a murderer, and her idea of handling that situation is to offer him her blood. Either she's deeply desperate, completely unhinged, or maybe both. But the real takeaway here is that Shirley is trying to control the narrative. She wants Kawayan to fit her version of the story, that he's the killer, the next sacrifice, the perfect puzzle piece for whatever ritual she and Floyd are trying to pull off. The group debates escape. After the blood-sharing art session, the group regathers to talk survival. With 3 people dead, Andy, Kawayan, and Blake suggest leaving the motel and hiking to the nearest town. It's 25 miles, no easy trek, but staying at the motel feels increasingly suicidal. Paige is terrified and doesn't want to go. Adriana doesn't really have an opinion and just goes along with the crowd. But Floyd? He's adamantly against it. Not because he cares about their safety, though that's how he frames it. No, Floyd and Shirley have plans, and they involve keeping everyone at the motel until they can complete their Baphomet ritual. So, of course, he finds every excuse to keep the group grounded. Andy, Kawayan, and Blake push forward anyway. They open the front door, and the nightmare gets worse. Crow's severed head is on a pike right outside the motel, and seconds later, they're ambushed by the masked killer. Andy gets severely wounded, and Kawayan manages to drag him back inside and slam the door shut just in time. Adriana witnesses everything, but doesn't lift a finger to help. She just stands there. The same Adriana who helped lynch Ruby suddenly freezes at the sight of real danger. The hypocrisy is rich. Blood, wounds, and paranoia. Back inside, Paige tends to Andy's injuries. And here's the weird part, she's into it. She tells Andy he looks badass with his new scars. This is the same Paige who nearly fainted at the sight of blood a few episodes ago. So, what is it now, Paige? Are you horrified or turned on? Pick a lane. Meanwhile, Blake is spiraling. He wants everyone to show him their shoes. His logic? The killer would have had to run through mud or water, so someone's shoes should be dirty. It's not a bad theory, But let's not forget Blake could be doing this to deflect suspicion off himself. Accusing others is a great way to avoid being accused. Before the plan can unfold, Floyd jumps in and tries to calm things down. He even has Shirley bring out a pair of clean boots to prove his innocence. But hold on, why not just check the boots Floyd is actually wearing? Why is everyone okay with being shown a spare pair? The group's critical thinking skills are going downhill fast. Still, Floyd and Shirley come off looking innocent, and everyone's too rattled to push the issue. Suspicion dies down, and with that, Shirley goes right back to Kawayan. She tries again to get him to confess, but this time, Kawayan shuts her down. He sees through the manipulation. He tells her flat out that he's not playing this game. If she thinks he's the killer, she should just say it.
You're calling, right?
I do.
Because not all demons and devils are the same.
A satanic origin story. In the middle of all this chaos, the episode randomly cuts to a flashback 30 years into the past. We meet a younger Floyd, a struggling musician with an address printed on his record sleeve. Enter Shirley. She shows up at his apartment uninvited, launches into a rant about God, Satan, and free will, and convinces him to join her in a ritual to summon Baphomet.
Just like that.
No build-up, no real emotional connection. Just two unstable people agreeing to contact a demonic entity because life is unfair. It's meant to be deep, but it comes off rushed and underwritten. This scene should have given us meaningful backstory. Instead, it just makes their motivations seem even more arbitrary. Still, the takeaway is this. Floyd and Shirley have been planning this for decades, and they believe that the Cold River Motel is a spiritual nexus, a hotspot of energy perfect for summoning Baphomet and getting answers to the universe's big questions. Kawayan's brutal end. Toward the end of the episode, Floyd and Shirley decide to make their next move. The time has come to cull the herd, and Kawayan is first in line. They sneak into his room and attack him brutally. Blood everywhere. Organs spilled. But here's the twist. Kawayan doesn't die instantly. He's still alive when someone or something enters the room, wearing a full Baphomet costume. Maybe it's Floyd. Maybe it's someone else. Or maybe Baphomet is real. What follows is pure nightmare fuel. Kawayan is turned into an art piece. His body is rearranged in a grotesque but almost floral display, complete with fake flowers and entrails. It's equal parts Hannibal Lecter and surrealist horror. It's the show's most disturbing moment yet. Is Blake the real killer? Right after this, Blake returns to his room with a deck of cards, ready to pass time with Adriana. The timing is suspicious. Did he really go out to get cards? Or was he assisting Floyd and Shirley with Kawayan's death? Andy eventually finds Kawayan's body, and it's placed just so he could discover it. Again, nobody heard the murder. Nobody checked earlier. But now, right when the story needs to move, someone walks into the room. It's lazy writing, honestly. This kind of plot convenience makes the show feel more clunky than clever. We end on yet another question. Who's really wearing the mask? The show wants us to suspect Floyd, but the editing also hints at Blake. Could there be another killer we haven't considered yet? If Baphomet is real, are Floyd and Shirley even fully in control anymore? Final thoughts. Episode 4 of Hell Motel is a bloody mess in both good and bad ways. It continues to pile on the horror, suspicion, and surreal imagery, but it's also starting to crack under its own weight. The writing is getting lazier, the plot holes bigger, and the characters increasingly unhinged. Kawayan's death is the emotional peak of the episode, and the Baphomet figure adds just enough supernatural spice to keep things weird. But questions remain. Is Baphomet real, or just a symbol? Is Blake secretly helping with the killings? And what are Floyd and Shirley truly hoping to gain? With several characters still standing, the body count isn't over yet. But the deeper Hell Motel dives into its occult mystery, the more we're left wondering whether it can stick the landing or if it'll collapse under its own chaos.